Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. This is Raffy Gutierrez for another episode of Crossroads of Faith here in the channel Usapang Religion. And I really want to thank everybody who has been watching and tuning in our videos, especially those who like, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, those who actually post their comments, like my good friend Ranjit from Hyderabad, India. I really love your comments, bro, and I appreciate your supporting the channel by posting your really inspiring insights. And I hope that the others also comment, like my friend Neo will continue posting your responses in the comment section. So today I want to continue the topic of divorce that I started last week. I think the momentum for supporting the divorce law in the Philippines has really gotten a lot of support already, even with the senators who will be engaging in voting for the passing of this bill. So today's topic will center around what I've seen most recently in social media, which is the thought or the suggestion that divorce will actually be more harmful to relationships than if it wasn't actually around. So I've seen many comments by the anti-divorce that passing the divorce law will cause more broken marriages, more broken relationships, and actually harm the children of families if this divorce law is passed. So what I want to address in today's discussion is why I am totally on the opposite end of the spectrum, so that my belief is really that passing the divorce will actually prevent more broken families, more harmful relationships, or continuing harm in the relationships, especially the impact that it will bring on the children. So why is that? Why do I believe? Why am I on the opposite end of the spectrum, in that I believe divorce will actually help fill the gap, right? Or be the answer or solution to broken relationships. So let me first present the argument of the anti-divorce. They say that the main argument is, if divorce is passed, couples who are on rocky relationships will no longer strive to fight for the relationship. They will seek the divorce to end the marriage. So instead of finding ways to amend and to heal or to repair the relationship, those who want the easy way out will just file for divorce. So if you really look at the argument, that is a very strong argument why you will not support divorce. But the thing is, where the people who the people who are anti-divorce, where they're coming from is from a place of not really understanding first what's inside the absolute divorce law that's being passed, and second, they don't come from a place of understanding. They come from a place of fear. Okay, so why do I say that? When you look at a society where divorce is possible and couples run into problems in the relationship, sure, we can argue that divorce is the easy way out, but that's the first thing I need to dispel. Divorce is not easy, especially divorce here in the Philippines. If you've actually read the divorce bill, the requirements to even qualify is not easy. The law will will make it very detrimental if the reason why you're planning to get divorced is because you don't agree on what toothpaste you are using. I know that's a silly example, but there is that impression here in the Philippines that once the divorce law is passed, anyone can just get it in an instant. You will be divorced. Okay, so maybe they are the people who are anti-divorce are comparing the divorce in the US or maybe even other countries where it's easy to get divorce. It's not. It's very different. That the divorce divorce bill that's being passed here in the Philippines is very different from the divorce being passed in the US. So that is not easy. It's not easy. That should dispel the concern that divorce is going to be an easy way out, because it's not. There's still being in the Philippines, we all know that, right? It's not gonna be just you submitting, writing a letter to your lawyer and say, I want to divorce my wife or my husband because we disagreed on what was the food served last night, or something silly like that. You cannot. There has to be real grounds that why a couple will apply for this. It's not the easy divorce like the famous story of Britney Spears many years ago when she married in Las Vegas, let's say Saturday, and then Sunday she got divorced. It's not like that. So please remove that notion from your mind. It's to qualify for the divorce, to qualify for divorce in the Philippines will be very, very different, if not difficult, right? Okay, so some of you are already saying, so if it's difficult, then just get an annulment. Okay, there's a difference. Annulment is almost impossible, right? To get an annulment in the Philippines, first you have to be very, very rich, and I mean like elite level rich. You can't be like even upper middle class rich. You have to be like, and you need to have that patience that it can last up to 20 years, more than 20 years to get an annulment, right? So, but the divorce will be an easier option, a more possible option than annulment, So, those who actually need divorce, who are actually qualified for it, will not have to undergo the same tediousness of applying for an annulment. Okay, so that's the first concern that the anti-divorce are arguing for, that divorce is easy. It's not easy. It's actually, there's actually a process, right? Okay, so second point, it will destroy families because children will now have separate parents. So I think, okay, I don't want to generalize, but personally, I don't like seeing couples fight all the time either, right? So when children are in situations where day in, day out, their parents are just going at it, and worse if it's already physical, like the father hitting the mother. I think it's just logical that parents in that situation just call it quits, right? And the pain of the separation and the impact on the children will of course be very, very very strong in the beginning, but then after a while time will heal all wounds. But time cannot heal a wound when every day it's being inflicted, right? So for example, just an example, if let's say I thank God I wasn't, right? But if I came from a broken family, so that for 20 years I saw my father beating up my mother every day, and my mother crying in the corner with bruises on her face, right? And 20 years I endure that. The impact is going to be terrible. Like, how that will destroy my psyche, right? Versus like maybe 5 years down the road, or even lesser number of years, maybe like 3 years, my father, if he had been the abusive type, beating up my mom, and because there's the divorce bill, my mother could just like apply for divorce, and yes, fine, my parents will be apart, but we will not see our parents beating up each other for 20 years, right? Because because the annulment, if my mother had applied for an annulment, it would take 20 years. So you see the point there, yeah. It's different, you know. Then when we see, let's say I see my parents separated, right? I don't grow up with a parent and my mother and my father at the same time, but at least, you know, at some point the wound will heal and I will be able to move on. But to live, you know, in a family where your dad and your mom just, you know, going just really destroying each other every day, even if it's just verbal, even if there's no like physical, or like if your parents don't even talk to each other anymore, it's, you know, however which way you look at it, how can you live peacefully when you seek, right? But if you live, your parents finally, you know, go apart and maybe they meet someone else, and you live with you know, maybe new siblings, there is a stronger possibility of finding some kind of peace or some kind of way to continue. But I think it's the failure of the antis to imagine these two scenarios, right? But then I don't want to judge. Maybe some people, they can actually imagine living in a family where their parents are just fighting all day throughout their lives, right? And if that's your cup of tea, hey, more power to you and God bless you. But again, that kind of circumvents back to what I've been saying on social media lately, that, you know, I think the greatest disaster that the anti-divorce are hammering to the pro-divorce is their religious stance that the sacrament of holy matrimony, and this is going to be a big segment to my third point, should be upheld regardless of all possible conditions, short of the conditions that qualify for annulment. But then let's go back to the argument on annulment. How many can apply for annulment, right? So divorce, apparently, for the ultra religious and the ultra diehard Catholics, is really going against God and breaking the natural law, right? So this is further to my point. When we argue why we should be pro or against divorce, we should try to leave our, you know, our religious beliefs as a secondary place for resource, or altogether put them aside. The reason being, because not everybody believes, not everyone in the Philippines is a Catholic, right? Even you know, former Catholics like me, you know, the teachings of the Catholic Church has long stopped resonating with me when I finally, you know, woke up to my own understanding and realization of truth. So you cannot impose your religious stance on the matter, and if you do, then prepared to get responses that people like me will say that you should not be coming from that place of being a religious bigot, imposing your beliefs on those who do not share your belief system, right? Because what if the Philippines was not predominantly Catholic? What if it was predominantly Buddhist, for example? So if the Buddhists were majority, can the Buddhists impose their Buddhist beliefs on the minority Catholics? How would the Catholics feel at that point? But the thing is, Buddhists probably will not even, if we were predominantly a Buddhist country, I think we would never even have this discussion, because people will just be really rational, practical, and logical about this approach to divorce. Yeah. So that's my sentiments for today, and I hope that in sharing this perspective, those who are still on the neutral side of whether they should support the divorce bill or not support the divorce bill have a clearer idea where your mindset should be coming from, right? So it's not easy, number one. Number two, it will not be negative on the children, or, you know, the impact will be short term, not long term, versus a couple or a marriage that is, or the parents are just fighting for their entire lives. And three, the imposing your religious stance is not going to help, or it should not it should not be your main mindset, right? Because then you're discriminating against those who do not share your mindset. All right. So that's where I want to end my talk today. And if this made any sense to you, if did not make any sense to you, please post your comments below. And I really appreciate watching the channel and watching the videos here. More power, and I'll see you next time. Gosh, oh.